down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hello, Savvy Investors. Today, we're going to talk about 10 ways to raise your credit score. Everybody pretty much knows this on the planet. Credit score affects everything. Your credit score can make you somebody special in your own mind, or you can be paying up your bottom for it. Okay. So I'm doing a lot of research right now on credit score. I finally got my dream credit score and I'm doing good. And my next class coming up in July is how to raise your credit score, what you can do with the credit, and so on and so forth. And so I've been doing a lot of research, and so we're going to break it down. I'm going to break it down for you today just to get the ball rolling so you can start thinking about your credit, what credit cards you have, how can you juice up your credit, and some tips and tricks, and so you can go in and buy a $30,000 car with a signature. How cool is that, with a signature? You know, I was reading this one book. It was really fascinating, the comparison between Sally, who has a mediocre credit score, and Jonathan, that has a rock star credit score, like, you know, in the 800, over 750, 790, something like that. And just the difference in interest rates on a credit card is baffling. A girl that has a mediocre, lucky that she has a credit card and a credit score, whatever, she's paying 19%, when the Jonathan cat, you know, is paying like under 10 or 11 or something. And this the amount of savings just by having a high credit score. And so you may be wondering, how do I raise your credit score? Where all this goes. So this is down and dirty. 10 ways to raise your credit score. So bear with me. I am not a credit disclaimer. I'm not a credit repair guy. I'm a guy that has had funky donkey credit down to 500, and I'm rocking over 800 right now. I don't know how I did it. Actually, I do know how I did it, and you got to come to the class, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. And then hopefully, if the class goes well, I'm going to bust out a course, because I know credit is something that we all need, and a lot of people don't know about it. And so FICO or FICO or FU or whatever it is, I'll just play it. So enough of me. Here we go. Number 1, to raise your credit score, boom, dispute errors. Years ago, I read a book, Credit Repair. I did what it said, and it worked. And that's what's so funny. People, they always want a silver bullet, or they want people to do it for them, or they don't know how to do it, so they don't do it. So you're trapped. I don't know where this stuff. Here, pull the freaking credit report. You can do it directly, and I'll go into it on another episode, but dispute errors, and there's laws to protect you, and I don't want to get into it any deeper, but you dispute errors, and there are mistakes that do happen. So do it. Another way to raise your score is knock off any of that ghetto debt that you have on there by negotiating. Yes, you can negotiate. If they realize in their world that they're not going to get it, and you can negotiate, say, hey, I have $1,000 and I'm defaulted on my credit card, and it's dragging your deal down. Okay, I got $500 cash today. I want to knock this off for a discount. And some people go to credit counseling and they do that for you, but they charge you a fee. And that's another episode where when you do that, and I have done that before, it kind of looks boo-boo on your credit report, because it pops up on your credit report, credit counseling, consumer services, or some whacked out thing. Another thing is that you need to check your limits. Find out where you're at and what you're spending. So, for example, your credit limit, say, is $10,000, and you got $10,000 on there. And what I'm saying by check your limits is, like, you think that you paid $3,000 off, and you want to keep your thing down to below under 70. If you really want to raise your credit score, keep it at 70 LTV, loan to value. So if you have a $10,000 credit score, do not spend more than $7,000, and vice versa. If you got a $1,000 credit card, you don't want to spend more than $700 at any given time. Well, even people think that they knock it down, they only pay $300, but it's the cycle. Find out when the cycle resets, and like I have one credit card that recycles on the 23rd of another. It's all hustles. Okay. So make sure you find out when the cycle hits and that you're managing it anally. Number 4, get another credit card. What? We're trying to manage credit? Yes. My credit score went ballistic. Now, I think the sweet spot, and I've read some information on this, is about 3 credit cards. Now, my boy Max out there, Basanova from Russia, he has 19 credit cards, and the dude's just killing it. And he's got algorithms, spreadsheets, and he has a whole system on credit. He tries to buy houses, does rehabs on credit. I mean, the guy's just gangster. But just to make it simple, 3 is like the ideal number, 3 active. And you only have 2, or you think you're cool because you only have 1 credit card and you pay it off all the time. Well, it's not giving you enough line of credit, enough information to raise your credit score. Okay, so you might need to get another credit card. Now, don't go get a credit card at Best Buy or a retail credit card. That's not the same kind of credit card. You need to go get a A-rated credit card. Go to Bankrate. You want to get a Chase credit card, a Southwest credit card, American Express, a real credit card that's going to give you the boost that you need to raise your credit. All right, here's a trick that I learned from my boy Thomas Morgan down in Chattanooga. Young kid, killing it, wholesaler, doesn't know too much about. I love it when I met him. He's like, I don't believe in credit. I do everything creative. And I'm like, dude, creative financing is the lick, but you need credit. I focused on getting loans and building my credit. That's maybe because I'm lazy. I just like to call the bank up. Hey, I'm buying this crib. Here's my loan application, approved, and I'm funded and I'm down. But he is real creative. So I was been trying to help him understand it. And I'm like, dude, you got to start building credit. There's eventually you're going to run out of deals. And so he had 0 credit, and how he juiced that deal up. And you got to contact him directly, or maybe I'll interview him for this course coming up. But he got on his mom's, what is it? It's like the government, USAA credit card. Okay. Has a really high rating. It's a AAA card per se. And he became a authorized user. So his mom called up there, added him to the account, threw his social security number on the deal, and boom, his credit went up the roof 100 points instantaneously the next month. That is the tip. You should put your hands together, because I didn't know about that, but become an authorized user on someone else. That is gangster. Okay. All right. Now here's another one. Raise your credit limit. So back to this $10,000 limit, and you're kind of keep hitting the 7,000 mark. Well, maybe knock it down to 6,000 1 month, and then call them up and raise it up $1,000. And then now your ratio is even better. That's another tip for you. Another tip is mix it up. Use some credit cards that are dormant, they're still active, but you're not using them, and you think you're being disciplined, you think you're being cool. But the problem is that's actually counterproductive in your world of credit. So you may open up a credit card, like I opened up a Best Buy credit card, which I need to cancel that mother. But I opened it up to get a laptop, because if I open up a credit card, I got so much and so much free interest. If I pay it, the cool thing about that credit card, if I paid it off in the first 30 days, I got a free $100. I mean, I was done, no big deal. But it juiced up my credit real fast because I paid it right off. So mix it up. I'm not saying go out and get a Best Buy card, because that's not a high-rated credit card. It's a consumer card. It's a totally different animal. But that's one way to juice it up, and by mixing up the cards that you use. Another one, and I think a lot of people know about this, and I'm all out of order on my orders. I actually combined one there, but don't close any cards. That's another one for you. Canceling a credit card can cause your available credit to drop. Now, when I was in college, my very first credit card that I have, it drives me crazy that I have it, and I was 18 and I was dumb, and I had to make a choice sometime, and it was a bad deal, and I paid it off, and it was kind of got defaulted for a little while. This is 20, 30 years ago. But the point is it's still, I never canceled it. I just kept it open. Now it's closed per se, but I mean, it's not closed, but I don't use it. So, does that make sense? Hopefully I kind of explain that. And the last and final thing, effing obvious, seriously, pay your bills on time. And, I was reading this book the other day. Utility companies, they necessarily don't, you pay your utilities on time. They don't report. They only report to the credit bureaus if you default. So there's a myth out there that, oh man, I got to pay my electricity bill. It's going to ding my credit. If you are late on your credit bill, on your utility bill, it's not going to be posted that you're late. Your credit card will. So if you have to choose this month and you get paid on Friday and Wednesday, you have your credit card payment is due and your utility bill is due. Now, they're not going to shut your light off. Choose the credit card because that's going to ding you. But the utility bill, yes, it runs on your credit only if you default. Hopefully this 10 minutes helped you. I got a little lost in there, but you figure it out. Anyway, my name is Stephen Van Callen. We're the Savvy Landlord. You have entered in the Savvy Radio Show. If you are a master of credit, I would love to interview you for some new material that I got rolling out. But other than that, use your credit wisely. I consider it a loaded gun. Don't go overboard with it. Manage it really well. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul. Only buy what you need and only buy assets that make you money.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.